We are back, Tucson Gem and Mineral Show. I feel like I've said the same thing like 8 times this week, but I've had such a fantastic week, and unfortunately it's coming to a close. We have another fantastic guest today. Ms. Rebecca Tucker is a British gem expert. Okay, so that is so exciting to me because I probably know little to very little about British gemstones. So not only is today gonna be fun, I'm hoping there's some jewelry or sculptures or any type of goodie in this box. I have met her before and she is a wealth of knowledge. So you are in for a treat. Hopefully she'll come back and say hey with us again and hang out, and we'll talk about some more British stones. But for now, we're gonna jump right on into this great box. Ready? Oh, I should read the card. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I'm a little excited. Jet. All right. I do not know that much about Jet. It has been a while since I've seen Jet. I don't own any Jet. I think Jet is organic. Yes, Becky's like, yeah, get off, stop talking, let me come on and be a guest. All right, so that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna open up the box and Rebecca is gonna come on here and this is gonna be a fantastic episode. And I am just, what is thrilled in British? I know they're
elated.
Elated, I know. All right, I think I'm just gonna quit right now because everyone thinks I'm an idiot in this room. Am I right? Yeah, you're agreeing. All of you are agreeing. 3, 2, 1. Heyo, that's cool. This is Jet, and this is not cut. It is potentially polished. There's something, this looks different. This does not look like you just pulled it out of wherever, no. Okay, so I'm gonna stop talking and Rebecca's gonna come on here. She's awesome. All right, so I am thrilled to have you on the show. Thank you so much. Have you ever been on YouTube before? You've not been on my show?
No, never YouTube.
Okay, so hey to all our YouTubers, tell Rebecca, thank you so much for coming on. So tell me a little bit about yourself. You are a British gem expert before we dive in and talk about Jet.
Yeah, I mean,
tell me about your career.
Primarily, I am a jet worker, so I cut Whitby Jet, other British gemstones as well, and I love it. I mean, I started my career at the bench, you know, learning silversmithing, goldsmithing, lapidary, but I think I've always had a passion really for this stone, Whitby Jet, because it's so gorgeous and it is so unusual. It's unlike any other gemstone. It's so humble as well. You know, you go on the beaches in Whitby or around Whitby and you can just pick this up.
It's so light. Okay, the first thing I notice is the color.
Yeah.
It's opaque, but also how light it is. I was expecting it, you know, this piece to weigh as much as this.
That's, most people, it strikes most people. It's intensely black in color. It looks heavy. As soon as they pick it up, it's so light in weight. It's warm to the touch as well. It's so tactile. Okay. I mean, it's an amazing gemstone, and the reason for it being so light is because of what it's made of. You gonna have a guess?
I think you are the expert in British gems. Okay. But let me tell you, this episode is all about you and your fantastic knowledge. I am just here for comedic relief in the whole gemstones.
Oh, you input as well. Let's bounce off each other. Right, this gemstone is made from the fossilized remains of a particular type of tree called the Araucaria tree.
Araucaria tree.
Araucaria
tree, and we're gonna pop that up on screen.
Okay. Cool. Yes, so this tree existed in vast forests around the world, but particularly around the coasts of what is now England during the Jurassic period. When a tree died, it fell to the bottom of the sea, it would get covered in sediment, compressed and starved of oxygen. Oh, wow. And that starvation of oxygen, coupled with 180 million years, has fossilized it into Whitby Jet.
Okay, so we've got a fantastic backstory. Do you see a lot of Whitby Jet in jewelry?
Oh gosh, yeah, loads.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about.
I mean, the history of jet as being worked into a gemstone to be worn as, you know, body adornment jewelry goes back thousands and thousands of years.
Okay.
I think really most notably it was worn during the Victorian era. The reason for that was Queen Victoria entered a very long period of mourning after the death of her husband, Prince Albert.
Oh, how romantic.
I know. She never came out of mourning for the rest of her life.
And how long was that?
Another 40 years.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so this stone's pretty significant.
Yeah, so I mean, she would wear all black, and she actually chose Whitby Jet as her gemstone of choice to represent her feelings of loss. at that time. And because obviously there was no pop stars, no movie stars back then, people looked to royalty to influence their fashion and style, and they would see the Queen wearing Whitby jets and also her daughters as well, and they would say, oh, you know, let's also wear this stone. Plus, I mean, Victoria and Albert themselves were great patrons of British industry. So that added to it, as well as it coming from this lovely little seaside town, which lots of Victorian people would visit. It just made it into a fashion phenomenon.
We still see a lot of jet jewelry today, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about we have the history. What's going on in modern day? What's in 2019?
Well, let me start by showing you an example of Victorian jet.
Wow.
Okay, so this is a very, very detailed carved bracelet, and it's got 3 cameo faces.
Okay, guys. This beautiful, intricately made bracelet came from this. I am always thrilled when I see pieces that are carved. Tell me a little bit about who made this and kind of the process you go to.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, it's very, very rare that we actually get to know who made the piece.
Okay.
The reason being, they didn't see themselves as artists. I know, they were, but they would never sign their work.
Okay.
Jet, unlike precious metals, was never hallmarked. You get these amazing pieces of jet jewellery carved by any number of jet workers in the town, because it was the biggest employer of the town of Whitby at that time. You know, they would make lovely suites of jewellery, parures, or they'd make one-off pieces. This piece in particular is unusual because it's got the cameo heads on them. Now, it's very fashionable to get cameos. When you think of a cameo, they're always shells, aren't they? Shell cameos.
Kind of brighter colours from like southern Italy. Yeah.
So what the jet workers did, they actually invited a group of Italy's finest cameo carvers to come all the way from Naples to Whitby to teach them the craft for themselves. That's why your ladies on this have the hair and their clothing in a very sort of Romano-Grecian style.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but they easily became good as the masters that taught them, and then they were able to capture likenesses of famous people like Mary Queen of Scots or William Shakespeare, that kind of, Prince Albert, of course.
Wonderful. So tell me a little bit about where, I don't want to say mined, I want to say found, and tell me a little about the city where it's found or the area where it's found.
Okay, so North Yorkshire coast of England. It is surrounded by moorland. So it is this little town, seaside town, nestled between the North Sea and moorland. So it's very insular, very small, everyone knows everybody. And so when this gemstone started to become popular, everyone jumped on the bandwagon, and if you weren't already employed in the fishing industry, you would get employment in the jet industry as well. In terms of how it came out of the ground, back in the Victorian times, it was mined. They used to dig vast tunnels looking, you know, for the jets. Nowadays it is illegal to mine it, and you have to wait for it to wash off the coasts naturally. This is because of coastal erosion.
Is that a secondary deposit, alluvial?
Yes, secondary. It comes off the cliffs. It's basically beach combed.
Oh, okay. Great. So how do we get from here to here?
Okay. So what I would do as a jeweller, I would have a look at it, check it for flaws. Now I can see...
Now tell me about a flaw.
Well, like any gemstone, jet also has flaws. You can see on this one, right down there,
yeah,
flaw,
what is that?
And that moves up to there. So this is just like impurities that have got into the material as it's been fossilizing. That would show up as a bit of a silvery streak inside the jet. Because jet is jet black, you've heard the phrase, and it needs to look perfect. You know, any kind of flaw, any impurity in it will just stand out like a sore thumb. So it has to be perfect.
That would be cut out of it.
Yeah, so what I would do if I looked at this piece, by the way, this has an amazing cross-section, because if you look at it, it's actually got annual growth rings.
I see that. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, obviously, this has come from a natural species of tree, and when it's been compressed, I mean, this tree might have been so big or even bigger. It's been compressed and compressed and compressed, but we still get them little growth rings in there.
All right, guys, take a look at that. So do you want to give us a quick list of other British gemstones other than jet?
So the two big ones are obviously the Whitby Jet and then Blue John, which is a type of fluorite that comes from Derbyshire. One hillside. in Derbyshire. And then there's also Preseli bluestone, which is less of a gemstone as such, it's more of a granite material. But Preseli is very famous because it was the same material that Stonehenge was made from.
Wow, that's really cool. So it sounds to me like we have a few more episodes to do together.
Oh God, yeah.
Yes?
There is lots to talk about.
Great. Okay, so I see a ring in there.
Yeah.
May I put that on? I see some words here on the side. What is the significance of this ring? I see jet on the back.
Jet on the back.
That's beautiful. Where is this from? This is very interesting.
So this is one of our designs based on the history of Jet. Or rather the history of Whitby itself. Obviously Victoria loved Jet, but also at that time, or later in the 19th century, Bram Stoker wrote the book Dracula.
I love that book.
Have you read it? It's scary.
You know, it's the best book to read around Halloween.
Yes, exactly. But he used to holiday in Whitby. If you've ever seen pictures of the town, it's very kind of atmospheric and gothic. And there is this amazing abbey that stands proud on the cliffs of Whitby, and it looks down over the town.
Wow.
And this abbey was sacked by Henry VIII during the 1500s. And so it's now a ruin, and it looks really like gothic.
It's something like Bram Stoker would like.
Exactly.
It seems
so
like
when Bram Stoker used to come to Whitby, he looked out of his window and he would see the abbey lit up by the sunset on the cliff tops.
It gives me the chills.
I know. And he was inspired to write this book. He wrote the book, and we thought, well, let's do a play on that. Let's make some jewellery off the back of that. If you read the first chapter in the book, actually, the way that Dracula comes to England is actually he's shipwrecked on a boat that's coming into Whitby Beach.
Now I need to reread it, now that I know some more historical
it's probably not something you'd have thought much about at the time,
you're right.
But it's quite significant to the history of the town. So this piece here has text from the Dracula book.
Okay, guys, take a look at that. You know, we've done a few videos this week with guests, and you are the second video that has had a great literature.
Really?
Yeah, literary reference.
What was the other one?
It was Alice in Wonderland. There was a pin from Shelley.
Oh,
from
lovely.
the Kection. Yeah, it was. So this has been a really fun week. I love books and I love gems and jewelries.
Text on the side, and then on top of the ring, we've got Dracula's crest. The back of the ring is set with Whitby Jet, so we've got that dark black background.
This is a very...
And then...
the detail that went...
Oh yeah, loads of detail. And on the crest itself, we've got a ruby set in there, ruby representing the blood Dracula.
It's got real creepy, yeah. Okay, great. So we talked about the history. Let's talk a little bit more about maybe your favorite fact about Jet, or why Jet should be a part of every jewelry box on both sides of the pond.
It has to really be its association with Queen Victoria and her use of it during a period in mourning. I mean, it's so specific to that period in history when being in a state of mourning was so important for how you lived your life, really, for how people, well, it was a celebration of death almost. And this material was used to represent people's feelings of loss. I just think that's so fascinating, and it just captures that moment in history. And it's very brief, really. You're talking 20, 30 years. And after the Victorian era, Jet fell tragically out of fashion because it was then associated with mourning. You know, we had the sinking of the Titanic, the First World War, all these tragic events, and it was kind of too much for people. They didn't want to think about death in the same way anymore. And so it fell terribly out of fashion. So much Jet at that point was lost because people thought it was, you know, morbid, and they just got rid of it, chucked it away. So it makes the antique pieces very rare now. And it has taken the best part of the 20th century really to build up momentum and respect for this gemstone once again. Now it's seen as a rare stone.
I think so, yeah.
Very rare.
And organic.
You know, organic, yeah. Absolutely beautiful, with a fascinating history to go with it. And people like things that are British made, local. When I buy this in off the beach, or from people, there's literally local people that go out walking the dog in the morning, and they pick up pieces, and they know it's Jet because they're local and they've grown up with it.
Right.
And they bring it into me, and then I make it into jewelry.
That is so cool.
Yeah. What other gemstone can you think of that has
nothing? I mean, it's interesting.
Yeah,
it's a
story
great,
like that.
great story. All right, what's in the grid?
Right, you ready for this?
Yes.
Okay, so we've spoken about antique. Now I'm going to show you an example of modern carving.
Wow. Did
Okay.
you do this yourself?
I didn't do that one.
That is fantastic. Look at that. Wow. So basically, you take a piece,
Yeah.
and then you get to this.
Yeah.
That is so
Yeah.
cool.
You take a piece, you check it for flaws, you cut it, and ideally you make it into the biggest thing that you possibly can.
All right.
As little waste as possible.
You made that sound very simple, but guys, that is just the opposite. Rebecca, you're an expert, so it's maybe simple to you, but everyone else, it is very tough to carve and cut stones. Can I wear this, by the way?
Of course, yeah.
Great.
So jet is about a 3 on the Mohs scale.
Okay.
It's quite a soft stone. That makes it wonderful to carve. You can get so much detail from it, really. It polishes up to this wonderful mirror-like luster. Romans even used to use it as a mirror.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was that. It was that shiny.
I can see that, yeah.
And you try and bring that out in every piece that you do. A lot of the themes of our jewellery, as I was explaining with the Dracula piece there, is about representing British. So this is like the British oak, you know, the acorn.
Wow.
And this piece here, of course, what you're wearing there is a one-off piece because
Okay.
lots of hours have gone into the carving.
Okay.
This piece here is more replicated, really.
Wow, I like this.
Again, keeping with the acorn and the oak leaf theme.
Sterling silver.
Sterling silver
It's so delicate. I
with
like
a
that.
Whitby Jet acorn.
That's fantastic. Do you have a favorite piece?
A favourite piece would be one that I've made. So. I like this one. I wear this all the time, so it probably looks a bit scratched and battered.
Oh, it looks fantastic.
But here,
Whoa,
calm down. So the reason I like this is because it's incorporating the 2 British gemstones.
Okay, so we've got Blue John on one side.
Whitby Jet on the other.
And is this your piece? Did you make this?
Yeah, I made that piece.
This is fantastic. I was not expecting that on the back. Oh my gosh, how neat. And we have your company right there.
Yeah,
You wanna talk
CW
about that?
Sellers. Yeah, CW Sellers, we've been specialising in British gemstones for many years. We're just coming up to our 40th birthday. So that's very special for us next year. We're passionate about what we do. The company started in Derbyshire, working with the Blue John. We then moved on to Whitby Jet. It was an obvious progression for us because they're the 2 gemstones of
Beautiful,
Great
yeah.
Britain.
You know, I think you are the first time we have had Jet in unboxing.
Okay.
And we've had fluorite before, but I know we've had a Hidden Gems episode about Jet and fluorite. So we'll pop those links up on the screen so that I know I love Jet and I love organics and I know you do as well. So we can now share that with our viewers.
Great.
This right here is my favorite piece.
Is it?
Yeah, the pure surprise. It was
High
fantastic.
five.
So thank you.
Scuba dive.
You're great. The surprise, I didn't realize there would be 2 British gemstones, and the fact that I have the artist herself, the creative genius, is pretty awesome.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Thank you.
You're very talented.
Thank you.
Now, okay, I am going to ask you about your other jewelry though too. What do we have here? This is absolutely
Blue
gorgeous.
John.
Okay, so tell us, this Blue John looks a little bit different.
Okay.
Then tell us a little bit about the difference.
There is a reason for that.
Gosh, 2 stones, 1 episode. This is fantastic.
The reason this looks different, this is actually backed with mother of pearl for a start.
Oh, wow.
So
Maybe
if you
we're
turn
not
it
going to
over,
show that to the
yeah.
camera. I want to look at that myself first. Did you make that yourself?
Yes. Wow. That is something that we have patented as a company.
Okay.
The reason we patented this is because Blue John is actually quite clear, transparent in places, kind of like stained glass, really. What we thought would be nice to do is back it with the mother of pearl. That gives it an added strength to the stone, and also you get this lovely iridescence that shines through.
Very interesting. Very interesting piece. I love how you let me wear this piece.
Oh, that's okay.
I love this piece. And I love the acorn. This, if I had to pick, was the most eerie piece I've had on the show.
Yeah.
Because of Dracula.
Yeah.
I love that. I love a good literary reference. And that's one of my favorite books.
Good.
All right, so give me, I don't know, if there's like a top few facts about British gems, or if there's anyone out there who's looking to expand their collection into British gems, what is your advice?
Okay, I mean, I would always say this about any gem, buy the best that you can afford.
Okay.
Buy the best that you can afford.
Okay.
Yeah, I think one of the things with gemstones is you can own pretty much any gemstone, but you need the quality to be there.
Okay.
I mean,
Thank you for your beautiful
thank
necklace
you.
back.
Jet comes from quite a few different places around the world.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about locale.
Yeah, so parts of North America, Spain, Russia, even China. But the best jet has always been considered to be at Whitby.
You know, I've never heard of any other jet besides Whitby Jet.
Really?
Yeah, I was never familiar with, you know, Whitby Jet I've heard a million times, but I've never really heard about the others.
Well, it's probably because Whitby Jet is famous.
Yeah, exactly.
because it is so good. The thing is with other foreign jets, you don't get that same shine. It's also not stable, so it can become cracky over time. And all of that is because of the way it's able to fossilize. The geology around Whitby was perfect to make jets. It's just the best conditions, really, you know, to make it as lustrous as it is.
And it's beautiful. It's very shiny, you're right. I can see where it was mistaken as a mirror, or used as a mirror.
Yeah.
All right. I think I am questioned out. I think that it's time for us to do a closer look.
Okay.
So as the expert, I
Yes.
want you to pick a piece, any piece, one I'm wearing, one you're wearing, one that's right here.
Okay.
And you're gonna hold it up to the camera and tell our fantastic viewers what they should be taking a closer look at and what they should remember about Jet.
And I'm gonna pick this one. Mirror-like shine
Okay.
and flawless.
You know, that black, it is a dark, deep
So
uniform.
intense black color. No browns, nothing like that. It is jet black.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. Tell Rebecca thank you in the comments. Do you have a favorite emoji?
Favorite emoji, avocado.
Okay, everyone, put an avocado emoji in the comments as a thank you to our fantastic guest. And don't forget to like and subscribe. You do not want to miss out on maybe future episodes about British gems or more guests that we've got coming up. I am full of surprises up my sleeve. And I guess be careful of vampires, right?
Yeah, oh god, yeah, watch them vampires. Yeah.
Bye, everyone.